So again, welcome everybody. My name is Heather Riley, and I traveled in CAS 92A and then was on road staff from 95 through 2000. I am currently the secretary serving on the board for the Alumni Association, and it's my pleasure today to host this session with you. Christina Tsayan, who is our alumni community chairperson, isn't able to join us today because she is celebrating the first birthday of her grandson with her family. So we wanted to make sure that she had that fabulous family time with everybody. So we've got a great agenda lined up. We've got some of our board members here who will share some information. We have some guests who will join us as well to tell us some of their story. And as we go along, please feel free to type some comments or questions in the chats. We'll have some Q&A time at the end as well, for those who want to stay on afterwards, because we really want to be respectful to, as I said, to everybody's time as we go through today. So without further ado, I want to kick things off and turn it over to Karen Svidovich, who is our chair of Global Impact, and she has some fun activities that are coming up this year and is going to share a bit more with us. So Karen, I'm going to turn it over to you and your guests.
Great to be here with all of you. And today what I especially wanted to share is information about Global Impact was really put together to organize trips that alumni could attend to be making an impact in the world, to be volunteering or to be participating in different learning events. And today I'm especially excited to be joined by Paul DeLange and by Brad Bungham to speak about our upcoming Kosovo and Albania trip, which will be happening this October. And so I want to really turn things over first to Paul to say a little bit about his organization, New Day Impact, and the involvement that he'll be having with alumni in helping us organize this trip in October. So with that, I'll turn things over to you, Paul.
I'll just unmute myself. Well, for me, good evening. And I think also for Brad. I don't know where you are, Brad. But thank you very much, Karen, to have me in this meeting. And I'm delighted to, of course, tell a little bit more about what's going to happen. I'm an alumni from 1986, and I traveled in CAS A. I was really off for 1 year, I thought. I was 19, and then I ended when I was 25, 26. This might sound familiar to some of you.
Yeah.
Hey, and I see Ivan also there. Very nice. So I traveled as a cast member. I was very much addicted to the whole Up With People thing. I really loved Up With People. For all the 6 years I was in it, first as a cast member and then the 5 years after as a staff member. I got out of it and I did not deal with Up With People so much anymore, probably because I was trying to set a career in a total different field. I'm an entrepreneur right now, still am, and I am head of a group of companies in the Netherlands, and most of the companies are dealing with corrugation, manufacturing corrugation. About 15 years ago, the 9th of December coming up, we started New Day Impact, and this all started for me that a friend of mine told me, listen, Paul, you should come along with me going to Albania. And the traveler I am, which I hadn't done for quite a few years, told me I should do this. I should do this right away. And so we traveled with 50 entrepreneurs to Albania and to watch the soccer game, Albania, the Netherlands. We won that match with 1-0. But the Albanians should have won. Let's forget about the soccer match. I was there at one point, and I was together with a guy who was heading up another ministry or foundation. It's both. And this guy, he showed us around in Albania, and I was totally struck by the poverty, by everything I saw. And he took us around for a couple of days, and some of the entrepreneurs, they it really did something with them. Some of them, they didn't feel like being a part of it or doing anything with it afterwards. And I went home and I only was thinking, okay, I should do something with this.
Baseball?
Terry?
That's probably
Okay. So I should do something with it. And I told my wife, Christina, I was talking about it the whole time. And at one point she said, well, you probably should go with this one guy back to Albania. And long story short, I did. And I went back to Albania and I told him, I want to do something. I don't know what. We'll see. And this is where I started my 75 trips up until now to Albania, Kosovo, and also one time Brazil. I went to Bosnia and North Macedonia also, meanwhile. And for some reason, I told people about it. I told young people about it, and we started to go with groups of people, 37 people, 32 people, 25 people, young people, business people, doctors, educators, all kinds of people. And the foundation we started 15 years ago has become a little bit of a movement, I would say, in the surroundings I'm in. And it's called New Day Impact. So I was organizing these trips and building houses and building schools and doing cow projects and all sorts of projects. And then at one point, my very good friend, Brett, called me and he wanted to talk about organizing an Up With People board, European Advisory Board. And we got together with a bunch of people, also Dominic Considine. And we started to dream together about how are we able to move Up With People forward in Europe. And the problem in this little group at that point was a little bit that most of them were people telling what to do instead of actually doing it. And at one point I told them, listen, I really like this group. I like getting together, but I really feel the urge of organizing a trip to Kosovo. I just threw it in and then they looked at me and they said, yeah, that's actually good. Let's go to Kosovo. Let's go to Albania. And so we started to work on organizing. And this is also a big dream of Brett. I remember that very well. And I even don't know who started first, Brett or I, but it doesn't matter. We came up with it, Brett, and we went to Albania. We went to Kosovo, and it was amazing. For some reason, I felt being in Albania, being in Kosovo, it was a sort of continuation of what I've learned in Up With People. And actually, many of the skills I learned in Up With People, and absolutely also after, I was able to use organizing tours and organizing all sorts of stuff with many different groups of people. So I loved doing that and also bringing my old world Up With People together with my new world, entrepreneurs, and doing all sorts of stuff. In an incredible way, and you can probably write a book about it. The trip to Kosovo, Albania worked. And I remember at that time sitting down with Dale and with Brad and a bunch of people. And actually, the management of Up With People wasn't so eager because, it's a lot of money. And what about if we don't get the money and all that stuff?
Yeah.
But we got a lot of money in the European community and also in Kosovo, actually, which is exceptional. And I think we raised about $81,000 or euros. I don't remember exactly, but I know Brad does. And we also got the help of the mayor. And I think this is also the way we work. If you go into in countries like that, you cannot do anything without politicians. You need politicians to be involved, and you need them to be on your hand at one point. And because we did so, we have accomplished a lot. We built a lot of stuff. You can see that on our website. But also because of corrupt politicians, we also had to quit stuff because, they kind of threw in that they wanted some 10 or 15,000 euros to receive in order to help us out. and we don't do that. So,
Kickbacks.
this is how we got into Albania and Kosovo. Brett, you want to say something?
No, I just said they wanted kickbacks, a lot of them.
Yeah. And this is also very, very common in these countries. But anyway, we don't do that. And then it takes a longer way and around and left and right. And that's what an entrepreneur does. I think, having the skills of an entrepreneur, if it doesn't go the left way, you go the right way, and vice versa. Within the board, we have an incredible board of New Day Impact. They're all excellent people, very good at something. So if you look at us as a group, we organize great events, big events of 500 to 1,000 people or more even. And actually, I remember also we got up with people, of course, to perform in Pristina and also Jakova a couple of times. But also we got them to perform in the Netherlands. Remember, Brad, how incredible it was to have the cast up with people in Apeldoorn a couple of times and performing for a bunch of crowds. I loved getting up with people and entrepreneurs and everything together. And then at one point, I got into contact through Brad also with Karen. And Karen came along. I told Karen, listen, if you are really serious about maybe going to something like Kosovo or Albania with a group, then please come in. I'll show you around, and I will do anything what is necessary to do. But you need to go there in order to know what's going on. It's like being a PR rep in the city to organize stuff, and you know what's going on. And Karen came along, and it probably changed a little bit of her life as it has changed my life drastically. And I cannot quit doing the work I do. I love organizing trips for people who really want to do something. If people just want to visit and have a good time, then there's probably other trips you should go to. But if you want to visit and see how you together can impact the community, then this is a place where you can go to. I can go on and on. I will not. I'm just looking to my friend Karen. What would you like me?
Yeah, that was perfect, Paul. I think as you said, it was life-changing when I went to Kosovo and Albania with you this past October, and the impact that you've made over the years with families just is incredible. And so what I also think is great is that Up With People was able to go to Kosovo and Albania. So I wanted to give Brad a couple of minutes also to just share a little bit about what it was like for the Up With People cast, because as we bring alumni to Kosovo and Albania, I really want it to be a continuation of the good work that has been done by New Day Impact and by the Up With People cast. So with that, I'll turn things over to you, Brad.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. I'm not sure I can say anything more than what Paul just said. I mean, I went with him in the spring of 16 for the first time, and I think I've been there 10 times. 9 of them with the just on my own, and the 10th with the cast. And it was a dream, and we did it. And Paul's very humble. We couldn't have done that without him, without a doubt. And I think maybe since we brought a cast to Russia, Soviet Union, whatever it was back in those days in 90 or late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, we couldn't have done without Paul. And there's no way we could have, we did it as a team. But his commitment to bringing us to that part of Europe was unbelievable. And I remember the first time I went there in the spring of 16, and I've lived in Denmark now. I'm American, but I've lived in Denmark for 34 years, 33 and a half years. And the first time I went there, I was like, this is, excuse my language, but this is fucking Europe, you know? It's Europe. And there's so much poverty down there, and it's just not right. And so then I became attached to New Day Impact and what they were doing down there, and the people that were helping build new roofs. I mean, it's basic stuff, but you know, it was new roofs. It was making sure they had clean water. It was building a well. It's basic stuff that everybody on this phone call, I think, just takes for granted. And New Day Impact commits themselves to making this stuff happen. And I said, hey, we could come there, and you know, it's a long ways. So a long ways meaning a lot of money in transportation to get buses down there and get trucks down there and so on and so forth. And like Paul said, we had a lot of pushback. Some of it misinformation, but we made it happen. And Paul, I don't know if you know, but Karen and I and Allison had a phone call last night. Just sort of recapping, because I couldn't remember everything and I wasn't there every day in the weeds, but we had a phone call about what we did there, and we were there.
Great. Yeah, really good to hear.
We were there. Yeah, it was really great. And Allison had she just pulled up all these slides, and she's a very organized person, but what we do there, you know, and I couldn't remember it because I wasn't with them every day. Obviously, I wasn't involved in the weeds at the time, but we did some really cool stuff. And so we talked a little bit about what the actual cast do, and what Karen's trying to set up, you know, what would a alumni group of 50, 60-year-olds, what would they do that would have the same kind of impact, and how would it be different, and so on and so forth. So it was a really good,
because it was good to try to think about how we can really build on what the cast had done to run this upcoming trip in October.
Yeah.
Karen, can you give us some sort of an overview of what's planned for the fall and where more information can come for folks? As obviously this has been a really big impact for a lot of people, and certainly for the cast that were there. I'm not sure if anybody on the call today was there for any of those trips. But Karen, could you just give us sort of a summary of what's planned for this fall's activities?
Sure. And Brad and Paul can jump in with a description as well. But all right. So again, just really building on the good work that Paul and Brad and others have done in the past, we've planned a global impact trip that will be October 25th to November 1st. And it's really going to be collaborating with Paul and New Day Impact, building on the Up With People tour of 2018. Actually, it wasn't 2019 as well. And it's going to be 6 days. We're able to take 16 alumni to the trip, which is going to be somewhat similar to the trip that I went to last October. And I have to say, just incredibly impactful for me personally, but also for the people that I think we were able to touch. So we'll be volunteering to improve the lives of children and elders and families. And we're really trying to make long-term impact. So not just a one-year trip, but multiple years. We hope people can go back. So the enrollment for this is going to be opening up today, tomorrow. It's going to be 2,200, and that's going to include the flight from Vienna to Kosovo. So we'll all gather in Vienna, and it will be 6 nights that we'll be doing work with families, with children, with elders. And so I really hope that this is something that you can share with your casts, with your different networks, to be able to really spread the word as much as possible, because we really we hope to have a great group going with us next October. But other things to add, Paul or Brad, before we close?
Well,
Go
maybe
ahead, Paul.
like for to do this, to organize this together with an alumni community is exciting, because I've not done that before. And I think I've been with starting NDI. I've been with about 700 some people, different groups, to Kosovo and Albania and Brazil. So I also think if we look at the people who are going to join this group to join us to go, Karen and I, and maybe also Brett, I don't know, but we will be part of this group for sure. And also I want to see how it's working and how it's going, but I also want to look at the talents of the people in the group. So the people who are joining, what are they up to, and what are they good at? And if we know their talents, we can maybe use their talents also in the stuff we're going to do. And if you are maybe a guy or a lady and you don't like to do children's stuff, well, you're not going to do that. There's so many things you can do, but it's not only doing; it's also seeing how we do things as a foundation. And we will also, I'm quite sure, do our job, because our job is continuously with improving homes and doing all sorts of projects. So that means that, yeah, we also would like to look at the talents within the group. And I wouldn't mind sing here and there a few Up With People songs or a few songs, because music still does everything to people. This is my understanding, and I think all the times I've been going there, for sure I've been singing, or people with my group have been singing every time. And Brad knows actually go, and also Karen has experienced that, and it's more Up With People songs anyway. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you both so much. I mean, I really think we've got some questions in the chat here too, but we really welcome, your questions, your thoughts as we move forward to plan this trip, and hopefully to have alumni from all of your casts join us. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Oh,
I will be skipping out the meeting right now because I go to my mother. Her 83rd.
Okay, please do. Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Yeah. Give her a big hug.
Thank you.
I will. Bye,
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, buddy. Let's talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's certainly some questions that are here, and we invite you, put them in the chat for now, if you don't mind, and we'll get to them at the end, and we can have people stay on and ask more questions as well. So we have quite a few things that we want to continue to move through. But I do want to thank you, Karen and Brad, and obviously, as Sam has just left, Global Impact is a new position on the board in the last year and is in a response for people asking or saying that they want to do more together with alumni to continue that volunteerism, et cetera, and as a group. So this is our sort of second project. There's one that's happening in conjunction with Alumni Week this year, but our first sort of travel as a separate entity. So we, again, everybody, we're hoping you can share the information, and this will be the first of many. So thank you, Karen. And again, thank you, folks, for your questions. Just toss them in the chat and we'll get to them as well. So now, as I mentioned, annual Alumni Week, we have our first one happening in Limerick this year, which I'm sure everybody is aware of. And but in the future, we're going to have to go to someplace else. So our Where in the World campaign has been kicked off, and I'm going to pass it over now to Mikkel, who is spearheading this at the moment, and what our bid process is going to be, taking a look at maybe the next city or area is in your neck of the woods. So Mikkel, all over to you.
Excellent, thank you. Good day to everyone in our various time zones around the world. I see we have representatives from Europe and Japan and North America, which is really great to see, because future alumni weeks we're looking to have in various locations around the world. So we do have a committee from the Alumni Association that has been put together to try and solicit bids from different communities run by alumni from around the world to try and encourage people to bring the annual Alumni Week to their community. So just to give you a quick idea as to where we are right now, this was presented last month to our Board of Governors, and the bid process was announced late in February. As you'll see at the bottom left of this presentation, it puts the date, but it also has the number of dates until the announcement. This is the countdown, so that those groups that may be interested in creating a bid have a really good idea of how much time they would be able to have to put a viable bid together. Yesterday, we had 2 information sessions so that people would have the opportunity to come and get some information, ask some very general questions. And just a reminder to everyone on this call today, I won't be answering any very specific questions. This is more to create the awareness that this does exist. And we do ask that you pass this on to your groups that you are connected with, so that more and more people are aware that there is the opportunity for annual Alumni Week to move to different communities around the world. We're going to have different groups show their interest by actually registering. And from that point, they will be able to receive all the information. For those of you that have ever done a request for proposal, either as a potential vendor or as a client, that's the situation that we're looking to create here, with a great deal of detail. Some of the logistics would have to be thought out beforehand, and we do have quite an itemized list of requirements as to what would be a viable city or community for us to go to. I will use a couple of extreme examples, but you know, we have a community in northern Canada called Tuktoyaktuk, which is probably not a viable location given that the population is in the hundreds and very difficult to get to, and therefore probably not going to make the list. Whereas other communities may be of a certain size, have a certain amount of infrastructure, and quite importantly, have a large group of dedicated alumni volunteers who would be willing to follow this through. So more information and the criteria will follow in the registration process. We will then have bids due on the 11th of May to our committee, and the following weekend, sorry for my technical issues here. Here we go. This, of course, would be ideal if we had a large number of bids to be able to choose from. On the 18th of May, this is when we would meet with each of the prospective bids in person. They would be able to follow up with the bid that they had submitted, maybe have a promo video, but also to be able to answer any questions for clarification. From there, the committee would shortlist. So this is where we would decide which of the hopefully many bids, we would move forward to the final vote. We then would bring this on the 1st of June to the IAA Board of Governors, who would vote. That is when we have one of our board meetings, and that would be part of this. So that's when the decision would be made. And in this universe, Hobbiton, congratulations, has won. The announcement to the alumni at large. We want to make this an event. We want there to be anticipation. We want there to be excitement. People might know, oh, it could be Osaka. Maybe it's Sydney, Australia. Maybe it's Nairobi, Kenya. But at the actual annual alumni week on Friday, the 9th of August, that's when the big announcement would be made. And that's what we're very excited about as well. So that is the very quick overview, but what this comes down to is that this is a decision that the alumni around the world will be able to contribute to. If you've ever heard from some people who said, oh, it would be great to be able to have the reunion, the alumni week here, this is the opportunity to put your money where your mouth is. This is the opportunity to gather your people, to motivate people, and to be able to show pride in one's community so that it could be a viable option for future annual alumni weeks. All right, so that's where we are with that. Are there any very general questions?
And feel free to raise your hand electronically because we can't see everybody on the screen at the same time, or put your question in the chat. And again, we'll be talking more about Annual Alumni Week at the end of the session today and staying on there too, so we can have more. And you know, Mikkel, I've seen that presentation many times and just realized that Hobbiton, that was all filmed in New Zealand. So I'm really not too unhappy about a New Zealand choice for a reunion. So if that's the clever way of putting that in there. But again, there's a lot to do, and you know, realizing this is the first time that we've had this process of Annual Alumni Week, there's still a lot of questions, but we hope whether it's individuals or, you know, different alumni from a city or a region or a country can certainly put information together, and there'll be more coming out in the not too distant future.
Absolutely. And the one question that might not have been asked, but is on some people's minds, I'm sure, is why? Why are we doing this? Why has the format changed? And the fact that we have an annual alumni week as opposed to a reunion is the result of feedback from our international alumni. So this summer, it is going to be a new format for a lot of people. And there's a lot of adjustments. There's a lot of new things that are happening. Some people are incredibly excited about it. Some people, you know, on the other end, not exactly happy. But let's also keep in mind, we have 22,000 constituents in our international alumni. There's no way to make every single person happy, and we do realize that. But this is something that is new. This is something that is exciting. And it also gives our alumni around the world the opportunity to help contribute towards the choice or choices that we're going to be able to make in the future. So very, very excited about that. And I just ask that you pass the information on to your groups so that more and more people are aware of what is going on for all of us. Thanks for your time, everyone, today. I appreciate it.
And Lisa, quickly to answer your question, yes, Limerick is planned for the next 3 years. And the idea would be to start 27 or 28 with the next city, and again, in multi-year cycles. So there's some logic behind having an event in the same city for a couple of years and some advantages to that. Maybe not consecutive years like all the years we did in Arizona, but you know, that all worked too. So we'll go from there. But yeah, it will be announced this year so that the new host committee has a couple of years to get themselves organized. So that's the quick answer for that. Okay, thank you very much, Mikkel. And I'm going to pass things over to Marisa, who's actually getting you in the front of the spotlight instead of behind the spotlight for a little while. So Marisa, update on comms for everybody, please.
Just briefly, thank you all for being here. As a cast rep myself, I truly appreciate this group as a and as the comms chair, because you are truly the ones who help get the messages out. My own cast said to me, Marisa, if the IA posts it, we don't listen, but if you do, then we pay attention. And so I feel like they're not the only ones out there with this feeling. And I want to just thank you for being here. Thank you for getting the messages and for sharing, because that's truly how we will let more people know, get more alumni engaged, and to have them aware of what's going on and finding the places that they are interested in being involved. If it's the travel that they're interested in, they want to go do service and with Karen's team. If they want to get involved with planning the next annual alumni week, all the different, but if they don't know that it's happening, then they can't possibly. I apologize for my voice right now. I'm not going to talk and torture you for too long. Wanted to make sure that you are aware that when you like and comment on posts, that puts them in more people's feeds. So if you can do some engagement on those posts, it will help others to see it as well. And we also have made it possible to update your information in the database so that we have the right and accurate information for you. And I'll drop that link in the chat. This will help us as we send out Upbeat, which is due out on March 7th. So if you can have your networks be on the lookout for it, that would also be appreciated. If you do have a story to share or a suggestion for an article, do please reach out. I want to start posting more news in the news section. Like, for example, I posted about Ross, who has been inducted into the Hall of Fame, in the news section on the website as well. But when I don't know that what the alumni are doing, I can't celebrate them. So if we can start to try to funnel some more of those things my way, I'm happy to share and to celebrate what our alumni are doing. Along those lines, we are also trying to make our LinkedIn more active and have that be a more professional networking space for alumni. Our professional development chair, as well as someone from my communications team, are working on growing our presence there and celebrating our alumni and helping those professional connections to happen, which I think is just an exciting thing that we can offer and support. Also grown our Facebook group by over 200 people in the last couple of years. And when you do share that group, I encourage you to use the link for the group and not the invite button, because that bypasses the questions and then we don't know. It makes it harder to find them in the database and a slower process for everyone. When they go straight to the page and click the join, then we can look them up because they answer the questions, find them, get them approved much more quickly. I think that was everything. If anyone has any questions or feedback, I'm happy to chat, and I'll drop the Facebook link in the chat as well.
Thank you. And again, Marisa, thank you, because as many of you may not be aware, Marisa is on the ball, helping us all the time, getting things internally and externally communicated. So whether she's clicking keyboards or finding links or helping us also with IT stuff, Marisa, thank you for all of the different behind the scenes things that you're doing for the board and for the alumni. It's very much appreciated. All right, we're going to move over now. I'm going to pass the torch to Debbie, who is working on our awards in her external relations chair. And Debbie, I will pass things now to you and to your guest, Hilda.
Thank you so much, Heather. So I am Debbie Lagomarsino Woodkey, and I really am excited to make an announcement first before I get to introduce a past winner of one of our awards, is that you are the first group to know that we actually now on our website have a live system of finding out who won an award in the past. So if you go to the Up With People International Alumni.org website, you will see the annual Up With People Award, annual Up With People International Alumni Award, sorry. And on the drop-down menu, besides seeing the nomination form and all of the criteria for making a nomination and what the different awards mean, you will find a title that says award recipients. So this is the first time we've actually put them on our website and had the technology to make sure that if you go to that link, let's say you want to nominate someone from your cast, but you don't know if they've won that award before, or you're interested in finding out who all won these awards. You can go in and now you can put and fill in any field you'd like. You can either just put in your cast and see all the awards won by your cast, or you can put in a last name or a first and last name, or you can just look at who won the award and look up just the awards and see all the different names. Anyway, it's very exciting. So if you will pass that along to your groups and casts, you really are the first people to know that it's live, and it's waiting for you to explore. So that's very exciting. So I'm really honored today to actually introduce to you one of our former J. Blanton Belk Award winners. And Hilda won this award, I believe, back in 2015. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I would like to have you tell us a little bit about maybe why you received that award, and what you were doing at the time, and then what are you doing now as it's connected, actually.
Thank you, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy you found me. You have been trying for a little bit, and thanks to Mary. Of course, Mary knows everyone, so this has sort of been you. I got this message a few days ago, so I'll try my best to give you the story that I have. I won the Blanton Belk Award in 2015 at the 50th reunion, and it was I don't know, you asked me how I felt about it or how I reacted, and of course I was very surprised. I was very proud and also a bit ashamed, and I think this is the first time I say that out loud. Maybe because there is I won the award because I have an engagement for a small Norwegian foundation that works with the children with disabilities in northern Uganda and very poor children in Romania. So I very much recognize the description Paul has about Kosovo, that probably also I could say the same about Romania. This commitment started with a small Norwegian organization, and then as we grew our projects in Romania first and then Uganda, we founded two organizations there. So we founded Adina Foundation Uganda, that works for children with disabilities in a post-war area, and then Adina Foundation Romania, who works with poor children in Romania. For me, when I got the award, it was kind of, I'm only 45, I'm not done yet. and also I felt that you cannot achieve any of these things as an individual. So for me, it's all about the team. So standing there, sort of getting an award for what I have done made me a bit, I don't know, uneasy, because this is very much most of all the children that we help and their efforts that makes the success of the projects. But it was very much a motivation. And, you know, when you stand, you walk in this world every day of poverty, of despair, of that are so different from where I come from. I live in Bergen, Norway. And sometimes you don't really count the wins because there are still so much more to do. So having the award was really felt like a motivation to continue and to at least see that somebody sees and values the efforts that you have made. On nomination, I think I was nominated by a castmate, Dragana Matic, and she talked to my husband, who's also an alumni, and they managed to get the information to send into the committee. And I remember when they read the information before saying my name out loud, my daughter said to me, "Mom, I think they're talking about you." It was not in my mind, so I was not even focused enough. But anyway, as since then, I have been working also with Adina Foundation Norway. And first, I started in 2002 when, as a volunteer, I was then a teacher from an elementary school. And Adina Foundation came to the school asking if we could support in any way. And I volunteered immediately because I knew that in school, if you do something special, you have to have hours for it, or who's going to pay for this and who's going to pay for your time and blah, blah, blah. So I said, I'll just do it voluntarily. So I volunteered, and then immediately, like a year after, I was into the board. And then 5 years after I got engaged in 2007, I started as an ED for the organization. And then in 2007, we also got engaged in Uganda, northern Uganda, not only in Romania. And northern Uganda at that time was very, very recent war. There was a civil war there up until 2006. So when we started out in 2007, and my first visit was in February, there was completely chaos. There were no functioning health system facilities, schools. People were in refugee camps. People were strongly traumatized, and we were engaged with an organization that wanted to do something for children with disabilities, and there was absolutely no focus on children with disabilities at that time, and a lot of children had become disabled due to indirect or direct war actions. So it was a rough start for a then young woman from Norway. But we figured that this is something we just have to do. We cannot witness this suffering without doing anything about it. I felt that we were the voice these children had out in the world. So for me, it was a no-brainer to get engaged and to sort of learn what it took to build a good project in Uganda. And of course, in Romania too, it was not that chaotic. It was poor, but not a post-war area. So I worked with these projects up until 2 years ago, actually, when I was diagnosed then with MS, and after a lot back and forth and trying and working and doctors and blah blah blah, they told me that it's time to take it easy and not work anymore. But of course, nobody can say that I cannot volunteer, so I do volunteer. So I got this, I don't know what you even call it in English, this permanent sick leave, permanent retirement, health retirement, November 1st. I didn't even try. I thought about knitting for a few days, maybe painting, maybe baking, I don't know. And then I figured that, no, it's not going to work. So December 1st, I registered a new organization together with some very, very good co-workers. And that was done because I got from an initiative of one of the main sponsors in Uganda from the States, Project Possible. He said, are you willing to start a new organization with me, Norwegian-based, that can focus solely on children with disabilities? So we did, and it was registered by all the Norwegian registers at the 16th of February. So very newly registered and passed all the tests. So then at the 16th of February, we got access to our bank account via the internet banking, and we are now building a new organization and the web page and everything. So if we were 2 weeks later, I would have a lot more to show. But anyway, Ability Forward is the name of the new organization. and it's designed in order to take sort of the project in Lira, Uganda, further when it comes to collaborating with other organizations in East Africa. We also have full backing from Children's Hospital of Orange County in LA. Project Possible, or Bonner Paddock Rin, who's behind Project Possible. He built a very big rehabilitation center in connection with CHOC, or Children's Hospital of Orange County. So all their expertise, a lot of training comes from there to our project in Uganda, and also similar projects in Tanzania and Kenya. So just having that network experience, or giving organizations in the South the access to a lot of expertise in the North, but at the same time giving them the possibility to learn from each other. Because after all, the problems or the cases, the sickness, what we rehabilitate in the South hasn't been seen in the North for very many years. So they build their own expertise, but with the help from us. And I think the Up With People experience sort of helped me understand this, that we all bring something to the table, right? It's not, we may think that we are superior, or systems or hospitals, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, we don't live in another person's reality. So by everybody joining forces and bringing something to the table from all different corners of the world, we can really make a huge difference and really make great projects. So that is what I'm doing now. I asked my doctor, of course, if I was allowed to do this, and he said, "Can I stop you?" And I said, "No, you cannot." And then he said, "Then I applaud you." So everything is fine with the medical personnel. Yeah, I think I made a lot of notes, and of course I don't look at them at all.
I would like to know if you have a website or something you could put into the chat, that if more people would like to know, if you'd like to know more about Project Possible, how we could do that, which is great.
Yeah, I will write 3 addresses. One is the new organization that is now being it's under construction. And then we have the Adina Foundation Uganda that we support. And then Project Possible, I'm not sure if they, the US organization, right? I'm not sure if it's org or what, but if you Google Project Possible, yeah.
Probably org. Well, yeah. I know that this was last minute for you. I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want everyone who's on this call to realize that in your casts and people you know, it does take someone to volunteer or step up to the plate. So I realize you said, it takes a team, but you were the one who really spearheaded and stepped up. And the idea that it was a motivation for you to do more is really what we look at when we look at some of the awards that we hand out with the International Alumni Association. These are motivated people who do things. And I would really like to encourage you to look around your cast and see people that you know, not necessarily even in your cast, who you might like to nominate for an award this year, because there are many, many, many deserving alumni who do step forward and do take the helm of anything. And here we are, how many years after 2015, and Hilda is now involved in a new project. So this is what the Belk Award is all about. So we really appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much. And I just want to say one more thing too. I really want to give a shout out to John Griffin and Marisa Connors, who really helped get the website ready and for me to input all the information so that we could actually go live, and you can find out all the different J. Blanton Belk Award winners, or maybe all the cast rep or the Sam Lanham Award. So please make use of that too. Thank you again, Hilda, for giving up your time this evening. We appreciate it.
Hilda, thank you. I'm going to echo what Debbie said. It is, I think, inspirational to hear that your story is continuing, and even with some little setbacks that have happened, for your doctor to say, "Can I stop you?" and your answer is no, is just that testament to what you bring to things. I think I may have noticed Karen taking some notes there, and who knows, maybe there's a global impact trip that could happen and support you with Ability Forward in the future. So maybe this is going to launch something from there, and that's
You're
what these
absolutely
connections
right.
are all about. So thank you
Yeah,
again.
I was taking notes.
I caught you there, Karen, as you were jotting things down.
You did.
So Hilda,
As I was
thank you.
typing loudly. Very good. Very good.
And we're going to move forward now. I'm going to pass the baton over to Tressa, who is here representing the Up With People board. And she will also be introducing to us to one of the new staff of Up With People. So Tressa, on to you.
Super. Thanks so much. And I'll take a moment first to speak before I jump into the content of the slide, which is in front of you now and probably exciting. Thank you first and foremost to IAA for the invitation to have Up With People join these connectors, the cast reps, era reps, and beyond. I traveled in 1991, cast B. And then I must admit, I took Up With People in my heart and in my brain, but it took a long time for me to circle back. I became a diplomat for the US government and have spent more than 20 years living around the world, in Asia, in the Middle East, in Europe, and elsewhere. And really, I am a diplomat today because of what I learned and continue to experience in Up With People. A year and a half ago, I joined the Up With People board, similar to what Paul said when he founded New Day Impacts. I knew I wanted to do something with Up With People. I didn't know what. And I thought, well, let's see. And my project possible, if I may say, for Up With People has really been to focus on how Up With People, today's organization, continues to morph, to hold its legacy strong while becoming the organization for today. And my big focus really has been, how do we work with alumni and the IAA to continue to ensure that the health of both sister organizations is supported, and that we move together in our North Star directions. So with that, there are two things I want to focus on today, and recognizing the time, I'll try to keep it nice and quick. First thing, I want to talk about the 2024, so this calendar year, Up With People programming. And then second, I want to introduce to you the newly hired in December, the Chief Development Officer, and he will do a very quick update on just the Up With People fundraising development strategy. So first, 2024 programs. Building off of the Voices program last year in Latin America, Up With People will travel once again to Latin America. And you can see in the big yellow area here on the slide from June through September. And the countries which are currently anticipated, details are still being finalized though. The tour would start in Mexico, go to El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Costa Rica. A lot of the Voices program resembles the Up With People program that we all traveled with or experienced, but it is updated, of course. It seeks to have 40 participants. It is a 12-week long program. It remains focused on ages 18 to 24. It continues to have Up With People musical components, community service, and host families. It has added things like capstone projects that students can develop, that they bring back to their communities to affect change. And it also focuses on mentorship and help the students think about what their next steps professionally may be. Up with People will have a second Voices program, as shown on the green card on the left of the slide, to India. That will be from mid-September to December. A whole host of different locations there. They will be housing largely at universities or other community areas. Super exciting program. The CEO and president of Up with People, Seema, has traveled once to India to help set this program up and is using a number of her excellent contacts there. Both of those Voices programs, the Latin America program, the India program, the student fee is $6,500 US. There are, like there have been always, scholarships for students who have needs-based needs. I will also note that the fee that students are charged is really only a small percentage of the actual cost of the program. And so fundraising above and beyond from Up with People's side to help these students travel is always necessary. The last program, which is a new program that I wanted to mention, Summer 2024. It's a 4-week program called LEAD. This is a smaller program. We're looking for 25 participants, and it will go to 4 locations, 1 week in each location: Denver, Colorado, Virginia, Shreveport, Louisiana, and Wisconsin. In each location, we partner with the university, and the students will live on campuses, connect in with the universities, and have a university-focused program that will include music and arts. So those are the 3 programs. Lots of this information you can find on upwithpeople.org. Also, for those who are interested, perhaps prospective students or parents of prospective students, there are links for questions that can go directly to the recruiter, and you can contact Up with People directly should there be questions. For all of you here as connectors, would love for your assistance in helping to recruit. Up with People is seeing strong recruiting, lots of interest, but of course, you are excellent ambassadors for Up with People, and we welcome your support in the recruiting. Next, I'd love to turn to introduce you to the Chief Development Officer, Eric Horner. The financial health of Up with People has always been important, and ever more so, to be very honest, especially as we transition out of the depths of difficulties of COVID. And so I thought it was really important for this group of connectors to hear just the top lines of the strategy for supporting the financial health of Up with People. And so I've asked Eric to join to give you that high level.
Thank you so much, Tressa, and thank you to the IAA. I wanted to say I really appreciate this invitation. I'm Eric Horner. I started at Up with People in December as our Chief Development Officer. I come from a career of 25 years in fundraising, and 3 of my roles have been with large universities and had a role with an alumni association. So I want to say to you how much I appreciate the strength of the IAA and the relationship that we have with the alumni is such an important part of our goal here. Oh, and Tressa, I saw there was a question there. So if you could take a look at the chat while I'm doing it, that'd be great. So here's a little bit of the development plan. It's an executive summary that I'm sharing. It's an adaptation of what I presented to the board last month. But my commitment to you, to our alumni, is that we're going to have a very professional and friendly alumni outreach that will take place. But our development goals are actually a little bit more well-rounded. So first thing you're going to see here is that we've added some folks to the team. So Rob Haynes is going to be our new Director of Development. Rob will be joining us here in March. He just signed on. He comes from previously being the director of foundations for Boeing, and before that with AmeriCorps. So he's very knowledgeable about putting together some of our corporate partnerships. And then Layla and Michael Accardi are two folks that we have on part-time with us, and they're working on our foundation outreach. And here we're looking to build relationships with foundations. I know several alumni have reached out and shared that they had relationships to foundations. Those are really helpful for us. We're working on building those relationships back up, and we really want to have a continuity of communication with foundations that's beyond just a particular RFP that we're applying to. And then lastly, for individual donors, this is only about half of what we're looking for. So here you can see corporate and foundations that combined, they're about $1 million. About $1 million annually as well will come from individual donors, but there's a breakdown of 3 tiers with that. The top, of course, would be our major gift donors, and a major gift to Up With People is anything larger than $25,000. And a lot of those take place with meeting with people individually and talking about their philanthropic goals and meeting that together. I'll be doing a lot of visits here in 2024. I know I'm planning to be in Chicago, in Florida, in Southern California, and Boston in the next quarter. And additionally 2 more rapidly after that. If you're in that area, would love to add you and learn more about your experience. But we'll also be, doing outreach to just generally alumni, parents, past donors. And what we're looking for here is really increasing just the number of donations that come into the organization. And we're looking for over 400 donations a year. That's at an average of about $125 from our alumni. What you're going to see coming up is a real outreach in an increase in the number of communications that we send, because we will be sending some emails out to let people know about this. Our board is really helping out with a generous matching gift campaign, which we just announced last week. And this matching gift, this is where the board has put some money aside to increase the impact of any donation that anyone makes to the organization between now and June. And as you know, as we're ramping up, and you saw from Tressa's chart, we're moving from 1 tour that we had last year to 3 programs going out this year. And this is that time when we really need to increase our productivity, because we've got to get those tours on the road. And then lastly, I just wanted to thank all the members of our Global Leadership Circle. We currently have had 90 Global Leadership Circle members that were in place before I got here. We're looking to grow that to about 140 Leadership Circle members per year. If that's something that you like to take a look at, we really appreciate that. That's anybody that's making a recurring donation or additional donations to the Up With People program. And usually the average there is about 5,000 per year. But we accept Global Leadership Circle starting at $1,200. And with that, you'll see Britta Meyerly is our new Director of Annual Giving. She is an expert in our data operations, and she will really be helpful with us. Also, Michaela Butwin is our associate. Michaela is always available in our Denver office, and so if you have any questions, she can respond to email. She's also there by phone. So we really want to be available to any questions that might come up. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Tressa.
Super. Thanks, Eric, for being able to join us. And just thank you again to IAA Board of Governors for inviting Up With People to join today and to continue our connections. I'm really proud of the work that we're continuing to do with both of our organizations, and really have been so pleased to be a board member for Up With People and connect with IAA. So with that, Heather, given the time especially, back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both, Tressa and Eric. And yes, so watch your inboxes, folks. There will be more information coming on all of this from Up With People in the not too distant future. And now it is my pleasure to turn things over to the incomparable Mary McCullough to talk more about the Alumni Week that is coming up.
Hi, everybody. Greetings from Tipperary here in Ireland. And before I hop on to talk about Annual Alumni Week, I just wanted to let you know about another event that's happening before that, and that is the European Alumni Meeting in Belgium. And that's happening May 10th to 12th, but there's a pre-program. And for any one of you who've been to a European Alumni Meeting or heard about a European Alumni Meeting, all the fun happens in the pre-program. So if you're planning to go, I'd highly recommend that you schedule to arrive early. Susie, who is heading up the team, unfortunately couldn't be here today, but there's a wealth of fun activities happening from the 7th up until the 10th with tours. I believe there's chocolate and beer involved and all kinds of things. But just wanted to remind you to check out the registration page because the early bird rate for this will change on the 18th of March. So mark your calendars for that. It's always a great gathering. It's a really, really fun time because people travel from all over the world, not just Europeans. So definitely check out. And the link to the registration page for that is in the chat now. Thank you, Marissa. So another thing to note that's happening at this year's event, and even if you cannot attend, you can still support. Hilda just told you about her wonderful organization earlier, and they're being honored through through the European Alumni Meeting this year, because a fundraiser is happening at the European Alumni Meeting with the funds going to Hilda's organization. So it's a really fun way that you can support them because they have distilled their own gin just for this. And the funds from that will be going to Hilda's organization. So you don't have to travel. You can have someone pick up a bottle or 2 or 3 for you and support that. So do check that out as well on the website. So then just moving on to talk really briefly about Annual Alumni Week. I'm just going to give you a little update because after this call, we'll be staying on for those of you who want much more in-depth information and about this year's event. As Mikkel let you know earlier, it's our first year to change the format of what people traditionally have at Reunion. And again, just to reassure everybody that all the great elements of what normally happens at Reunion will still happen. It's just going to happen in a different way and it's just going to look different. But we're very excited. Over 600 people have already registered. Many of our day tour options are filling out, and you'll see here just an overview of the schedule for the week. So Karen from the Global Impact Group, before she goes to Kosovo, she's going to Belfast, Northern Ireland. And again, I'm very excited about this personally. I've been working with Karen and some of our Northern Irish alumni on this. For any of you that ever travelled to Ireland or Northern Ireland in your cast, this is something I think you would want to do, because I think I'm very proud of how Northern Ireland has changed since I was even a student in Up With People. So this is a phenomenal opportunity. It's a study group that's going to spend some time looking at the whole peace process, and not just in Northern Ireland, but what does the language of peace look like? How could that be used in other parts of the world or in our own daily lives? So this is a real full circle of learning. We're going to be starting before anybody goes there. There's going to be Zoom panel discussions and trainings and some homework to do and some learnings, and looking at your own, I suppose, thoughts on why you find this process interesting or fascinating, or what you think you could bring to a peace conversation. Then there's obviously going to be the study group itself, and then afterwards the facilitator that's working with us will be with us in Limerick for all alumni to hear and to be part of panel discussions, and there'll be lots of follow-up. So this is a real, I think, typical Up With People, full circle of learning in the whole experiential learning field, because people are going to get to be hands-on. And I know that many alumni, as I said, who did travel there back in the 70s and 80s, quite a lot of tours went to Northern Ireland, have signed up, as well as some new people who've never been to Northern Ireland. And I think it'll be a very, very impactful group, not just because of where they're going, but who they're going with. There's people with very diverse ideas about what it's like or what they think it's like. And we'll also have the opportunity to have some of our own alumni involved in this conversation. So the reason I'm telling you this is it's really special. and there's very few places left. So if you are interested, or you know someone that's interested, talk to Karen or talk to me, or get on the website really quickly, because once it's full, and we cannot extend that group to a larger size. So definitely hurry up and have a look at that. So the overview of the week is really Monday. People are arriving. We're going to have a city tour. We're going to have a very fun Irish evening. And this is our first year as well to launch Experience K&T. So very similar, I suppose, in ways to Cast K&T, but a much longer and more in-depth experience. It's a week-long program just for children up to 12 years of age, and then from 12 to 17. Working with Walter Belcher and a very talented team of alumni from recent years. This is going to be a really in-depth, fun week for the kids, and they're also going to get, a really in-depth study into Irish culture or European culture, and also all of the many elements that you would expect in a mini Up With People experience. And they will be performing on stage on Friday night as well. So that's a really fun thing. If you know anybody that has young people that might be interested in this, it is a week-long immersion program, so it's very different to, I suppose, K&T experiences at Reunion, in that it's really a mini Up With People experience for the week, and that kicks off on the Monday. Tuesday through Friday, all kinds of activities happening. We have day tours going to various places. We'll have some workshops and some discussion groups. But also, just to let you know, for those of you that have signed up on waiting lists, we will be trying to add more places to tours. Please, if any of you know people that are sad that they didn't get a place, please tell people to add their name to the waiting list. That is the only way that we can gauge, if we can add more spaces or not. So we'd really encourage you to let your cast know, add their name to the wait list. We're also going to be adding new mini experiences throughout the week onto our website in the next week or so. And these will be little things like afternoon tea for your cast, whiskey tasting for your cast, lots of smaller group activities. And that's a big part of the feedback that we got when we changed the format from Reunion to Annual Alumni Week, was many casts wanted to do smaller experiences. Everybody loves, I think, the electrifying atmosphere of arriving to Reunion with 1,000 people so excited and buzzed to be there. But you kind of sometimes leave and think, oh my gosh, I didn't get to talk to this person and I didn't get to do that, and there was so much going on and it was all a blur. So we're really trying to distill down all the different experiences and give people the opportunity to still do the small group thing, do things with your own cast, your own era, but still have the opportunity to meet other alumni and do the bigger parts of the week as well. So lots of different things happening throughout the week. Then later on Saturday, we're going to be having a medieval experience. So if you're in Ireland, you have to go to a castle. And then for those of you who know the very much renowned Survival Band, we are very excited that they're coming. This is their biggest gig, I suppose, to travel to with such a large group of alumni. This is a group of band members throughout Europe that have performed at various European alumni meetings. And these guys are just amazing. They could probably play any song from any Up With People show live. It's almost like having a live jukebox there. They're incredibly talented and dedicated volunteers. They do this as volunteers, and we are thrilled to have them. And it'll be really, really special to have them on our closing night. Just to let you know, our registration website has a lot of information and we keep updating it. So please keep checking back, please keep looking, please keep referring people there. Everything from how to get here, the best places to arrive to. We're also going to be adding a feature soon that you can book these mini experiences or dinners on just for your group. There's going to be a lot more things happening there in the next week or two. So please refer people back there. Also, we have updated the deadline section. You'll see new deadlines that are coming up. So one of the deadlines fast approaching, as I mentioned, is Belfast. The last day to sign up for the Belfast study group is the 15th of March. And then, of course, March 17th is St. Patrick's Day. So that just gets its own celebration on there. But also, it's the day that our next prize draw will be happening. And we have some amazing prizes that people can enter a draw for. And that deadline will be, that'll be the 17th of March when those next prizes will be announced. And then the next big one on there is the 1st of May. That is the last day to register for any of the optional day tours. So again, we ask for your patience and we ask for your cooperation. And I know that we've asked many of you to make decisions earlier than you ever would have been done before. And thank you for doing that. But our deadlines are all much earlier. And because this is something completely new for all of us, we really have to balance the whole, volunteer pool that we have working, the risk and cost analysis on things. So we really do appreciate people coming on board with us and registering earlier and booking your accommodation earlier and doing all the things that we've asked. That really has been so helpful for us. Speaking of volunteers, I'm thrilled to say that we had a phenomenal response to asking for volunteers to sign up for Annual Alumni Week. We have 3 levels of volunteers. Some of them are here with us today already. So we have leaders who are already working many hours a week. We have full-time volunteers who are going to be there for the full week, and we have part-time volunteers and day volunteers. And we just couldn't deliver this or any program without volunteers. So we have volunteers from all 5 eras on our team, and we have 43 people, and we have 9 countries represented. So I'm really thankful to those people who stepped up, and more did. We actually couldn't accept everybody that volunteered, and hopefully we'll have positions for them to do other things at other times. So huge thank you. Everybody on the board and everybody on the Annual Alumni Week team are all volunteers. So we ask for your patience as we get back to people and reply to things that we're all in different time zones. So we appreciate your patience with that. I think that is all I have to mention right now. For those of you attending Annual Alumni Week this year, I will be staying on for further information. Definitely our WhatsApp group. We've, I think, over 500 people in the WhatsApp group right now. That's where we put updates. Also in the Facebook group, and we do have monthly information sessions. So all of these things are where we keep giving information. We're really trying to put the creation of your own schedule into your own cast's hands. So while we have things throughout the week that punctuate the schedule, we're really leaving space for casts to do their own thing. So please do, if you're a cast rep, or even if you don't have a cast rep, we actually really encourage you to join the monthly meetings. We're trying to give as much information as possible. We very much realize that the schedule looks and sounds different. So we want to make sure that people have all the information that you need, but also take the time as a group to plan your own schedule for the week. So please do pass on the information about the WhatsApp group, and also the monthly information for the information sessions. I think that might be it. So if you want to stay on and join us for the next part, we're happy to answer questions there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, everyone. It has been about 90 minutes now that we've been here, a little bit longer than planned, but as I look at the number of participants, it hasn't changed. So you've hung in there with us, and we really appreciate it. There are so many details that have been said. There's so many questions that come up. Just a reminder that there will be a summary that's sent out, as well as the link to this video. So you'll be able to go back and pick things out if you want, or share with groups so that the information goes there. It's been mentioned many times, but you are really invaluable to us and to your fellow alumni, be it as a cast rep, be it as somebody who is involved in different groups. And we are encouraging this group to continue to grow and grow and grow. So thank you so much for your time today, be it this afternoon or this evening. There will be more sessions coming up. And I would be remiss if I left out, there will be a live, what we're calling Upbeat Live, and Stu Shepard, our illustrious president, will be hosting that. There'll be more information coming, but it will be a live forum where this information will be shared, more information will be shared, and we'll have a lot of guests there, including some folks from Up With People and other members of the board. So stay tuned for the Upbeat Live. The first one to happen in the next week or so is the hope for that. So again, I just want to thank everybody for being here. We will stay online longer, so if you'd like more information about Alumni Week or any of the other groups, we're happy to answer those questions. And just a reminder that the next meeting will be at the beginning of May. So stay tuned for more details from there. Again, on behalf of Christina, thank you so much for coming today, and I wish you all the very best wherever you may be. Take care, folks. Bye for now.
Goodbye, and thank you.